am here to talk about, my life with epilepsy and my last experience recently in the ER and life on the daily with epilepsy. It's very crazy. I would never know what anyone is going through living with this, neurological disability disorder, whatever they want to call it, whatever this is, um, unless I had it. I never understood what epilepsy was. So, anyways, I went on a trip with my boyfriend, and, I felt comfortable with it. I still travel. I don't let epilepsy get the best of me, so I still try to live my life. And we went on our trip. We made it to Las Vegas, and then after Las Vegas, we made it to Arizona. I'm going over this in the way that I am because I can only tell you what I remember and the baseline of it. Because with epilepsy, you pretty much forget everything. So, we got to Arizona, and I don't remember much of Arizona. I woke up in the ER, and I was strapped to the bed like this. Literally, both of my arms strapped to the bed, and my feet. That's what I woke up to. I believe that during the time of seizing and being in the coma and constricted or whatever you would call it as well, I think I remember waking up at another point too and having like nurses and paramedics or whatever you call it, like just all around me, everywhere around me, and I was like, in the bed trying to tell them, I just need to get up, just please let me get up. And they were like, no, we can't let you get up. If we let you get up, you'll hurt yourself. And I'm like, no, I need to just let me get up. Like, I just needed to be able to know that I could move. So that was crazy. I had no phone or anything. And whatever they had me on must have had me like so messed up and out of it though, because I don't remember much after that. And then I was just right back to sleep. The next time I woke up, my mom was next to me, and I don't even remember the order of a lot of things. I don't remember when those things got taken off, the bands. I wanted to get out of the bed. I was strapped down. I think that maybe I know I said something to my mom, and my mom told me that she was the one that ended up, helping me out of them because, I felt so crazy and restricted, and I did need to use the restroom. And she helped me go to the restroom, which was fine. They just wanted me to stay in bed and pee on myself. That's what they wanted me to do. They didn't think it was okay for me to get up at all. And my mom was like, no, Tiana, you're talking to me like I know you, like you can get up and go to the restroom. So I was talking to her, and she was able to help me get to the restroom. She just helps me walk there because I was so off balance. I don't know if it was from the drugs or the seizures or a combination, probably both. So I did not know I was in Arizona when I woke up. I forgot we had went on the vacation. I also did not know, I didn't know I was in an Arizona hospital. I was able to realize I was in a hospital, but I'm like, what? Wait. Oh, we went on the trip. And then I was like, how long have we been here? And I'm like, wait, so we just came straight to Arizona? And my mom had to fill me in on everything. And she was like, you've been here for 2 days. And I'm like, wait, what? I had to ask her what the date was. I asked her, she flew out there. And I just could not believe it. And then I'm like, where's Griffin? And I found out that he was at the Airbnb that we had gotten, and he had been there, staying there himself for a couple of days because the hospital wouldn't let any visitors in at all. Zero. None. They wouldn't let anyone see me. They wouldn't let Griffin see me. They wouldn't let my mom see me. My mom had to convince them and convince them and convince them and convince them to finally get to see me. She knew that that was the only way that I was going to calm down. And she was right. You know, because when you have a seizure and you wake up to a bunch of random strangers around you, paramedics, or if you're in a fucking department store, you know, where you were shopping, or in the mall or something, and you're just surrounded by a ton of people, it's very weird. It's very weird. I mean, your brain isn't there. You don't understand anything. You don't understand where you're at or who these people are. Your whole life is like gone for a while, you know, and the past few days is just a blur, you know. So that happened. Everything had to be explained to me, you know. Finally healing on my arms. I have a few marks and stuff, but you know, they busted me up pretty bad, sticking me up. I've got some different marks and things on my sides, probably too far away for the camera to be able to see, but they had these things like attached to my body everywhere. I don't know, I guess to keep my heart rate and all different types of things. So yeah, I had all these like different like sticky things all over me. I got another EEG done. Nothing was found. You know, I've had multiple EEGs done. I just had an MRI done recently. Had one done before that. Had another one done before that. They never find anything, you know. And so once again, this all started after hitting my head in the car accident, which this is where, you know, the mark is right here. I'm sure you can kind of see, even though the way the light is hitting, this is where my head was smacked in the car accident. The scar still has not gone away. This was 2014. All this was sewn back together. Okay? So, my head just smashed forward. I believe it hit the rear view mirror, like the curve of the rear view mirror, and I think that just went into my head, you know, at a really fast rate. Could have been the glass. I don't think so. But when we saw the car, the way the car looked, I believe that's what hit. Just, you know, how am I ever going to know? An accident. I'll never get that tied back to the memory. So, anyways, where was I going with this? So what I wanted to talk about a lot, I think, was just so many different things that I deal with epilepsy. Like, emotionally, epilepsy is very, very crazy. Your emotions fluctuate all the time. And it's not some regular stuff like, I'm around people who don't have epilepsy and I seem a little more like emotional compared to them, you know. Sorry, I'm just thinking about it. So, you know, it's very hard because you have to think about all the time how you have to prevent yourself from hurting yourself. I, at any given moment, could just wake up in another room in my apartment and everything just be on the floor, and I wouldn't know how I got there, and have cuts and bruises all over my body at any given time. In the middle of this video right now, you know, and people live with this every single day, and it really is invisible because, you know, some people say that they've had people say to them like, oh, well, you look fine, you don't look sick, you don't look like you're disabled, you don't look, you know what I mean, like this. But it's not a look. It actually really isn't. It's like, it's who you are. It's your being, you know. I am sensitive to a lot of things, a lot of things. Sensitive to light. Not all the time, but certain times I am. It's just, it can be too bright for me or too white for me, you know. Flashing lights and stuff have never really bothered me. You know, and sounds, I realize that I pay attention to everything. Very close attention. I hear every noise. Every noise that's going on. Everywhere it is. And whenever I hear a noise, I realize that I'm always like, I want to know what the noise is, where it came from. Even if it's not a big deal. It's just like, I want to know what the noise is. I deal with irritability at times. And I guess it's because there's so much going on in my brain at once. And it's always on the edge. Like, it doesn't become calm. It has not calmed down since the car accident. I believe that I definitely have PTSD from the car accident, but I also definitely have like TBI as well, like a traumatic brain injury, because they've said, you know, that my brain could be damaged and injured from the car accident, but they just can't see it. Like, my brain was shooken up in there, you know, by the impact of it. So that's definitely something that is an issue as well. So people live with this every day. Seizures are very different for everyone. There's varieties of them. Some people will have seizures where they stare and just get quiet, or they might do something minor that you would think isn't anything, you would think was normal, but it could be a seizure. It's very interesting how it all works, because it could look very casual. But the types of seizures that I have are specifically only grand mal tonic-clonic, where I completely black out and my body starts jerking and twitching. Those are the only kinds of seizures that I have. And my memory has become awful. So pretty much, you know, I try to put in my notes to see if there's anything that I wanted to touch on specifically, which I know there was tons of things I planned to touch on when I was like, oh, let me record this video and talk about it. But they're leaving me as I'm here. But I know that I planned to title this video, How Epilepsy Will Have You Feeling Like a Loser. Because it takes so much away from you and literally damages you physically, and you're also damaged mentally. Like, you know, I've had damage done all over me. Cuts, bruises, scars, you know, they're still here. They're still here. I've got like tons of scars on my face from smacking it, seizing. So, also, you have to be safe, because you never know when this could happen. So, you know, it's very scary to put yourself in certain positions, because your mind just disappears on you. You just lose it. Your mind just goes. You know, sometimes you get the warning and sometimes you don't. But either way, even when you get the warning, your mind just goes. Like, so quickly, you know. Like, I guess last time, right before I got the seizure, I told my partner, like, I feel really weird. Or I said, I just got this really weird feeling. And I guess I'm known to say that before seizing. I've said that a few times to people. I don't remember ever saying it. I never do, but they tell me. I say, I just got this really weird feeling. And usually end up having a seizure within about 15 seconds. On the daily, this is what the type of stuff I wanted to speak about. On the daily, it's very hard, because after having seizures so much, everything starts to feel just like so dreamy and unreal, because it's like there's no way this could be my life, because of how much and how often you just wake up in a random place that you didn't go to, that you didn't choose to go to, and you have no idea how you got there. So life as a whole becomes to feel very artificial and illusionary and like a dream. Like, there's no way. And that alone, it's hard, because you don't want to feel that feeling, because it's almost a feeling that the brain puts on you as well before a seizure. Before a seizure, like, I get a very uncomfortable, I want to say you, when I say you and I'm saying everyone that has epilepsy, but we're all so different, but there's so many people who are alike too, and that's why we have these epilepsy groups to relate to one another, and it helps so much. But I get a very uncomfortable feeling, where it's just like everything that's around me becomes very unfamiliar. You know, it could be, you know, the space I've lived in for 2 years, but all of a sudden I don't know the space. I don't know anything around me, and I'm still conscious, and I start feeling very weird. It's a feeling you feel in your body. But in the same time as you get this feeling, you also get, so I guess you get this feeling, you get the deja vu feeling. I get that a lot of like repeat situations and places I have already been and things I have already done. And it can come in just like matters of seconds, like so quickly. It can be for me like just turning around, grabbing some apple juice, pouring it in a cup, and just in that matter of seconds, it's just like deja vu. And I'm like, when I get it, it's very weird. Like, it's uncomfortable when you get it a lot, and it's uncomfortable when you know that the reason you're getting it is because something is not right with your brain. Like, what I get is not normal. It's literally, it's not a typical deja vu. This is literally something that you experience with brain damage. And so the deja vu is all different as well too. Sometimes it, you know, more extended, longer, the whole situation. You know, it could be in a conversation with someone, you start having deja vu. But what I'm saying is like, you'll get deja vu, and I guess what they call, correction me if I'm wrong, I don't know how to pronounce it, James vu, or something like that. It's spelled with a J, but it's like, things are very unfamiliar. It's the first time that you've ever been there, even though it's a place you've known your whole life, you know? So that's what I'm saying. It's like very uncomfortable, both of these feelings, and you get them regularly. Then usually a seizure of some sort will come on. So you have to be careful at home about tons of things with epilepsy, you know, because I've broken glasses while seizing before, as far as like literally like had a glass bottle of nectar. I might have said this in the last video too. I don't know. I don't remember. But I had a seizure one time, and it fell off the counter, I guess. I must have knocked it off when I was up moving around, because that's something you can do during seizures. You can lay there and just twitch, and then also you can be seizing and walking around. Or it could be the post-seizure stage where you try to walk around afterwards, when like the twitching and convulsing, the convulsions, that's the word I haven't been using that I need to use, the convulsions are done. You know, so yeah, I've had a lot of experience with epilepsy and seizing at this point, and it's not fun, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone. It definitely feels like it takes away from your life and things you can do, you know. It's not safe for me to take baths alone, even showers, you know, I do, but it's just like, you can get hurt all the time, anytime. Who wants to feel like that and live like that? Like, oh, I gotta worry about getting hurt all the time, anytime. But I mean, you know, I hope that there's no one negative out there that looks at me or epileptics like, well, anybody can get hurt all the time, anytime. Like, that's just life, you know? No, whatever, that's fine. If you want to be like that, that's fine. But what I live with is something way different. I remember what it was like to have more of a choice. I do. And that's why I know it's different. Because I remember before I smacked my head in this car accident, and I was able to do things on my own. I had a lot more freedom and a lot more alone time before this accident, before I had epilepsy. It's not like that anymore, you know. People are worried about me. I'm worried about me, you know, so people don't want to leave me alone, you know. I could smack my head on the corner of a table. Like, you literally have to, like, safety-proof your home, you know. Couldn't have an in-ground pool. That wouldn't be safe. I could have a seizure, just walk outside into the back and fall into the pool while seizing. Like, literally, things like this can happen. I mean, even having a front door is crazy. Like, You know, like, it is so crazy because you could just open up your front door and walk outside into the street. Like, and if you think I'm playing, there's so many millions of stories out there, of people that they can tell you of crazy things they have done while ceasing. So yeah, people can walk out into the road and you just don't know what you're doing, you don't know where you're at, and you're not yourself. You're not who you are. Your brain has left you, and then you're just literally just left in this vehicle that only can do what it is left to do, whatever works in your brain still. So it's very hard, you know, just trying to adjust to this life. And let me see what else I put in here. Did I put anyone else? Or I said anyone else. Did I put anything else in here? Yeah, I think that a lot of the things that I have written in my notes too are just some things that I believe are bothering me since damaging my brain. Like, too much brain stimuli is something I've learned. Like, your nerves can be hypersensitive, I guess, things like that. Like, as in, someone pointed out to me about the point of multitasking. I struggle with that a lot now since my brain injury. And I'm glad I'm able to point these things out and notice them now, so I have a better understanding of myself and my brain and what's going on with me. Because it's like, it's hard for me to talk to people while, you know, looking at my phone and stuff. Now, I'm sure I'm not the only one, and I'm sure not only people with, you know, brain injuries get irritated when people talk to them and they're doing something on their phone. But I can't do it. I can't hear your voice and what you're saying and scroll or read anything. And maybe people aren't supposed to be able to do that, but I know that in my past, before all of this, I could be talking to someone and just be like, yeah, having a whole conversation and reading and understanding what I was saying and show them right after, like, oh my gosh, look what I just read, after I just had a whole conversation with it, you know? But not anymore. Like, everything has to be individually done on its own. It needs its own moment, it needs its own time, it needs its own focus. It's very interesting, you know? Yeah, and too many noises. Like, just unnecessary noises. Definitely not music. I'm not done with music. Music isn't ruining me. Now, I believe that because I'm so emotionally affected by things as well, that, you know, I'm going to work on a lot within, you know, these next weeks, months, days, years, however long I am on this planet, of just really making sure that everything that's going around me is positivity and uplifting, you know. I don't need any of that upside down stuff, you know, just negative, you know. I can really, really, really see the positive and negative in my life a lot more now, and in a different way, a whole different way. And when I say positive and negative, I'm not going to go all into this because it's a whole nother story. You can watch my other videos and stuff if you want to, or I can post more. Ask questions, I will gladly answer in the comments. But like, when I say negative, I mean like negative in my life was being vegan, an angry vegan. Like, that was negative in my life because I was mean to people just because they didn't eat the same way as me. Like, you know, I just don't have the energy for that in my life at this point. I really don't. I really don't. You know, I eat the way I want to eat. Of course, I have a way that I think is best and that other people should. But at the end of the day, it's not up to me. I can think something, but it's not up to me. So I'm out of that, you know. I'm out of it. You know, if someone wants to speak on it, we'll talk about it. But I'm not going to hate people for it or hate the world or any of it. And it's not my job to be out there 5 a.m. all the time. I just can't do it. I have to care about Tiana. And when I say 5 a.m., I'm talking about at slaughterhouses protesting, okay? Because I can't. I'm focusing on Tiana healing right now, you know? I have brain damage. How can I, you know, even focus on that 100% when I'm trying to heal my own brain? So, been doing a lot of healing in so many departments of my life and less judging others. Like, I'm just over it. I don't have the energy for the judgment, you know? So yeah, I think this is probably where I'm going to back things off overall. Guess I can briefly talk about how the fact that going to the chiropractor has still been helping me tremendously, even though this happened. It has helped me a lot. I went the longest I ever went without seizures for a while, 15 weeks, while going to the chiropractor. And then we believe, you know, I ended up having seizures. It could have been due to stress. Who knows? So much stuff happens, you know. But we're still trying to learn the triggers completely. And, yeah, the chiropractor helps me relax so much. We realize how much tension I actually have. I have so much tension in my body. Wow. I felt it, but it's like you brush it off until you actually go and get the help. And you're like, wow, this really helps. I'm glad that I did this. I'm glad that I did that. And yeah, I can't wait to go every week. That's a part of my life now, going to the chiropractor. It really helps relieve me, and it does help get tension and helps me relax a little bit more and be a little easier on myself and others, I think, because I don't have that tension as much in my shoulders and neck and back. And yeah, I will say since the last seizure, the recovery process been very hard, very, very up and down, you know, have those moments where, you know, I'm just feeling so down, like, why am I existing, like, what do I exist for, like, pretty much the only thing I do is just walk on eggshells all the time and wait to fall and smack my face and for someone to have to pick me up and take me to the hospital all the time. My life is just being ran to the hospital all the time, people babysitting me and being worried all the time. That's what, you know, will go through my head at times. I get very discouraged and feel very down and feel like I'm very pointless and purposeless, you know. Even though, you know, we have to remind ourselves there's other people in this world that are going through, you know, the same as us, equal to us, you know, I want to say more than us. It's hard to put everything to a level and a category because we're all going through things, you know what I mean? But what I want to say, basically, is be thankful for what you are capable of, what you can do, the functions that you do have, and use them wisely, because not everybody is able to function the way you are. Not everybody has that opportunity. Not everybody can do it because it's not safe for them, for their bodies, or for their minds, even if they want to. For me, I can't just run out into the ocean and swim, even if I wanted to, you know. I'm not somebody that is a great swimmer overall, but like even if I wanted to run out into the ocean and swim, it is not safe for me to do that just alone and just on my own run out there. I could have a seizure right away and I'll be gone. So I hate talking about stuff like that, thinking about stuff like that. So much negative stuff comes to mind because of my epilepsy and seizures. I have a lot of bad instances where I have, you know, images of bad things happening to me because of the seizures, like seizing and just something bad happening and being over for me. You know, you just never know. So it definitely has changed my outlook on things, and that's where the positive side of me comes in. You know, like I said, it's been up and down. It's been a roller coaster the way I've felt this past time. I've had good days and bad days, and the, you know, good days like keep myself really positive, like look at how far I've made it and how much I've made it through already. And I remind myself there's other people in this world that live with epilepsy. I'm not the only one, you know, and that's what something that social media is actually good for, like connecting us with epilepsy, that disability and seizures, you know, so that we can be there for one another. Otherwise, you know, this struggle would be even harder, just living this every day by myself. no one around me is going through it, but I'm going through it, and I would just be feeling like I'm crazy. I already do, but it'd make me feel even crazier, you know. So, yeah, people are out here going through this, and you can't tell by looking at them at all. Remember this, remember this. We have to remember this. We have to be a lot more kind to each other, because we have to remember, like, we're going through things. All of us are going through things, you know. So, hopefully we can get better at that. I'm working on it. I know I am. Some people just don't give a fuck. You don't have to. That's fine. But, you know, I just want to do what makes me feel good. And I have things that make me feel really bad and negative, and so I just want to steer away from those things. Don't want to be a part of things that make me feel bad or negative, you know. I like to feel uplifted and clean and healthy and like a, you know, holistic being. Hey. So anyways, let me get off of here. Thank you all for listening. I appreciate you. I feel like there's so much more I could go on and say about epilepsy, my experience overall. Things, you know, I forget things then remember them, forget things then remember them, so we'll see. Whatever I forget this time, I'll put it in my notes as soon as it comes to my mind, and I'll talk about it in the next video I make, you know, about my epilepsy at some point. So thank you, everyone, and hope everybody will check out my website, check out the crystals, and the clothes I make, you know, and my art. I know you see a little bit behind me, not much, and you know, I can move this just a little, I guess, to show some of it. There's just a little. But, yeah, the website, you know, www.tianaora.com. So, thank you everyone who tuned in, and yeah, everybody have an amazing life, an amazing presence, an amazing existence, you know, an amazing reason for being. I don't think 100% there isn't a purpose. I don't know if I believe that yet. You know, my beliefs change all the time. They fluctuate. I learn and gain new knowledge all the time and change my mind all the time. But I believe that, you know, that you definitely can have an intention and a goal, and that's what you got to go for. You do that. I'm laughing at myself. Okay, let me get back to my mango turmeric smoothie, y'all. I need to just drink it, but for some reason I like to eat my smoothies with a spoon. I don't know why, but I need to just drink it. So I'm gonna drink it. Anyways.